Am I still optimistic when it comes to the future of Bittensor? The answer is yes. I still like the project, even though nothing I say is financial advice. I'm totally aware of the fact that the price isn't doing the best as of right now, along with a bunch of other altcoins, of course. Also, Bitcoin had a pullback. Ethereum. Now, Bitcoin's still holding up pretty strong. It's still in that $100,000 range, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, things aren't looking that good, especially when it comes to altcoins, which, of course, Bittensor's native cryptocurrency called TAO is an altcoin. But even besides all that, why am I still optimistic when it comes to the future of Bittensor? It's not because arguably, hypothetically, even though nothing I say is financial advice, TAO at the price of $5,000 wouldn't surprise me. It goes beyond that because I like the fundamentals when it comes to Bittensor, because if we take a look at Bittensor, in my opinion, just kind of basically speaking in a simple way, it's focused on two amazing markets in my opinion. First of all is of course AI, and the second one is machine learning. Now more specifically, when it comes to Bittensor, it is a decentralized blockchain network acting as a peer-to-peer ecosystem for creating, training, sharing, and trading AI and machine learning models. Now, why is this amazing? It's because, again, it's a decentralized marketplace that brings together providers and consumers of machine learning algorithms and models. Now, let's talk about those two markets that Bittensor is focused on, AI, right? The AI market is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Granby Research. So I think that's really hypothetically amazing. Only time will tell, though. Now we take a look at machine learning. Now machine learning isn't something that's really like, that hype. It's not something that has too much attention because of course everyone is focused on AI. Some people beyond that, they're focused on, blockchain gaming and all this type of stuff. Like I've never heard anyone out there, at least that I know, say that, you know what, we're going to enter this space to believe in projects that are focused on machine learning. I've never heard that. I've heard people say blockchain gaming, AI, right? But then I still think like something like machine learning hypothetically could still be something that I want to pay attention to because, for instance, the global machine learning market size is expected to be worth over $200 billion by 2029, according to Fortune Business Insights. So I still think it's pretty interesting because I don't think it's gonna maybe become the largest thing out there, but at least it has like some, substance maybe to it. And I like how Bittensor is focused on that and not just, kind of strictly just AI and then they don't care about anything else, if that makes sense. At least that's the way I view it. And the idea of TAO, let's say hypothetically going to the price of $5,000, some people may think, okay, it's a little bit impossible because take a look at what's going on as of right now. But take a look at TAO, historically speaking, it's gained somewhat attention, when the market was doing pretty good. And I feel like actually the conditions when it comes to, just this space overall, I think it's actually looking very bullish, even despite the markets overall not doing the best. Let me explain why. There's over 600 million crypto owners currently, according to Crypto.com research, and that's right now. Allegedly, that's more than ever before in history. Back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, around 300 million crypto owners, and that was during the peak, again, of that, bull run, basically. Take a look at now. The hype surrounding the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, I get it, they're having a pullback, but I'm saying still, there's kind of hype surrounding that. Not to mention the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption. So yes, when it comes to the markets overall, they're not doing the best, but if we take a look at this space kind of like in a vacuum, I feel like the factors actually are very bullish, but then it wouldn't really matter if the markets in general are not doing the best. So it's just a waiting game for me because even though when it comes to TAO, it doesn't have the sample size of like, the S&P 500 or Bitcoin, for instance, because it simply hasn't been around that long. But in my opinion, at least we can take a look at some clues. Like, for instance, the S&P 500, eventually, we've always seen a time where, hypothetically, it does recover. Take a look at, even Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin launched, it's not like it only had, things going up. In theory, we've seen multiple bear markets. We've seen multiple pullbacks. It's not just this straight shot, if that makes sense. It usually doesn't work that way, in my opinion. So I don't think TAO is going to be the exception to that. Of course, TAO, it is an altcoin. It's going to be more, I think, volatile than something like Bitcoin. I'm totally aware of that. But at least I want to believe in something like, Bittensor, because let's say Bitcoin were to go to the price of 300 grand, which is around a 3x from right now. I mean, there's no guarantees it can ever reach that, but I'm just saying, let's say hypothetically that is the case. Who knows? TAO going to the price of $5,000, that's around a 16x from here. Let's just take a look at this more logically. Like, what is easier to, let's say, maybe do a 3x? Is it Bitcoin or is it TAO? I'm not saying that TAO will do that because I can't tell the future, but then the market cap is way lower than Bitcoin, so it theoretically wouldn't need that much volume to kind of make it do that, let's say in theory. Now, again though, 5 grand is around a 16x from here, but the market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around $44.5 billion. I don't know why that is maybe too much to ask for. Like for instance, back in 2021, we saw Dogecoin reach over $80 billion in market cap. Not saying that Bittensor is ever going to gain that sort of attention, but again, if some people out there are saying, oh, Doge hypothetically going to go to like 160 billion or whatever in terms of market cap during a fully fledged type of altcoin season, if some people are saying that, is this too much to ask for? This is just my perspective, right? Again, around 44.5 billion. But this is all just kind of speculation because there's no way to tell the future. But I'm still optimistic when it comes to Bittensor because usually when people think about AI, they think about, pretty much like ASI. They think about, Bittensor, they think about EOS. So I think Bittensor is like one of these main projects that people often associate with that, market sector within this space, right? So this is why I like, Bittensor. I'm not saying it's the coolest or most interesting project out there because I don't think it is, but it's something I still want to pay attention to. I'm not saying that I don't believe in meme coins and whatnot, but then I still also want to believe in projects like this and just kind of use it as one of my pieces in my portfolio. At least that is my point of view. Usually, by the way, altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. The last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year, so we add 18 months on top of that. That's around October this year. Now, that's based off history, by the way, but even if, let's say, the markets are doing very good, in theory, right now wouldn't even be a time yet when altcoins, at least based off history, at least based off that example, at least again, it won't be a time yet, as a worst case scenario maybe, to peak anyways. So why would I be concerned? Because here's the thing, no matter how bullish I am on a project, no matter how excited I am for its future, I cannot control it, right? There's nothing I can do to affect the market or like the project. I can't do anything regarding that. There's only one thing I can control though, and that's myself. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be dollar cost averaging into my favorite projects and just waiting. Literally, that's it. I mean, beyond that, I can't control anything else. So why would I kind of be worried about things that are beyond my control? I'd rather just be focused on myself. Literally, that's it. Beyond that, again, I can't control anything, but I'm going to still stay patient and just continue to accumulate hold and I just wait. That's it. Because some people out there say, hey, why don't you pull up a price chart on this? Because just think about this. Let's say I made a video. I pulled up a price chart on TAO. I started drawing some random triangles, started drawing some random, this and that, trying to draw a falling wedge pattern. Do you think the market's going to pay attention to that? No, it's not going to care what I draw on a price chart. It just looks cool, I guess. But then what does that do? It does nothing for me. I mean, I'd rather focus on the fundamentals. I'd rather focus on what the project is about, as opposed to just paying attention to just the price charts, because if I'm just paying attention to the price chart, I'll think that Dogecoin is better than this, in theory, right? Like if I'm just taking a look at the price chart. So why would I do that? If I only take a look at the price chart of TAO, how will I know what Bittensor is all about? So this is kind of my perspective. I'm not going to give up, but again, I'm not telling anyone to buy TAO. I'm only speaking on my behalf, but I'm still going to believe in it anyways, and just wait and see. Literally, that's it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.